We are live now.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Sam, for being here with us today. And thank you to everyone who's listening in, either live or later on. I would like to welcome everyone to the Pop Climate Leadership Conversations, which is a tribute to our chief mentor. This project aims to strengthen youth leadership and explore tactics that empower the youth to take action and tackle the most pressing environmental issues we face globally. We are conducting this series of conversations on leadership strategies, recommendations, reflections, and examples, each focused on global leadership and a different pressing environmental issue. This initiative is designed and implemented as a tribute to our chief mentor, late Dr. R.K. Pachari. Today, we have the great pleasure of speaking with one of our a member of our own pop family, Sam, who is a youth activist, who is a really important part of our family and of the work the pop movement does. So I will go ahead and introduce our guest today, and then we will go ahead and start with the question. Samuel Okorie is a climate and environmental specialist, environment, and the founder pioneer of the Pop Nigeria initiative. He is the communications and policy advisor for Globe Nigeria chapter, a climate reality leader, and a global landscape forum and fellow of Cambridge Existential Risk. He was a European Climate Pact ambassador for the European Union, investigative journalist for the Young British Climate Connect, British Council, and the research associate at the Center for Human Progress in India. Sam has also been able to empower over 200,000 lives through his initiative on climate education and also supported youth with seed grants and capacity building programs as a pop youth mentor and ambassador for Africa. He is the research working group coordinator for the Loss and Damage Youth Coalition and the Loss and Damage Research Consultant with the International Institute for Environment and Development, as well as a contact point for loss and damage and Younger UNF CCC Youth Constituency. So we are very, very excited to have Sam here. As we can see from your bio, you have done a great deal of things, so this conversation will be amazing. And I would like to start off by asking you, Sam, what does leadership mean to you?
Leadership for me means the ability to mobilize people to get the work done. That is what leadership means for me, because there are diverse definitions when it comes to leadership, and at times we use leadership as role. Probably once someone is in a particular position, then that person is a leader, But at times it could be different, and at times too it could mean how people view things, and after viewing those things, how people act afterwards. So for me, I would say leadership is the ability to mobilize people in order to get the work done, regardless of your position, regardless of, if you're under authority or not, or if you are being influenced by someone or not. But as long as you can be able to, mobilize people to identify a problem and inspire people as well to get the work done, that is what I feel is leadership.
I was muted. Thank you so much. I completely agree. I think being able to inspire your team is a great and a very important part of what leadership means. And for my second question, I would like to ask you what have been some of the main projects and positive impacts of Pop Africa, Pop Nigeria, and what have been some of the main challenges you have faced in order to achieve these challenges?
Okay, so part of the major project for Pop Africa and then Pop Nigeria as a whole has been diverse projects that can be mainstreamed into climate education. So in Pop Africa, we have over 5 African countries that are focused into climate education. But in this climate education, we also have to look at or explore other projects that can be initiated using climate education, like tree planting, agroecology, which we know a lot of regions in Africa, especially under POP, are into, and also in Nigeria, that is the same thing we are doing. But in Nigeria, it's taking more of a holistic approach where we are not just focused on agroecology and tree planting, but we are also into landscaping, making sure there is gender inclusion, advocating for rights, and promoting sustainable livelihood and all. So that is how it has been. And part of the challenges we've been facing, there's always the global major challenge that everybody can attest to, which is funding, so that is part of the major challenge we've been facing. But regardless of that, we've also been facing some challenges in the areas of getting volunteers, apart from getting volunteers, but even getting partnerships to push out the work and all. And then I would say it's not been easy, but yeah, we've been able to close some of these loopholes or lapses that we've experienced in time past. And it has also helped us to leverage on our network. So part of what we do as an initiative is to leverage on our network and the existing contact we have to get the work done. And then this has proven so productive because in the initiative we've done, we've actually gotten feedbacks about how impactful the project has been and how inspiring it has also led people to, go out there and make an impact. I have seen people that have written to me several times to tell me, you know what, Sam, the initiative you're doing in Nigeria and even in Africa is so inspiring. And it has also led me to form an initiative to address climate change in my community. And I've seen people that have come up to say, I would like you to, mentor me so I can be able to do a whole lot of things you're doing. And I've seen people that have told me, I would like to, do a whole lot, but how do I start? So there's a lot of things that people, actually want to do, but the thing that has been a major setback, I would say, is how to start and getting the right network. That is the major challenge. And for POP, Nigeria and POP Africa, we try to make sure that we provide people with the platforms to initiate projects. And what we do is we help people, build their capacity. From building their capacity, make them identify a climate change event or a climate change challenge that is happening in their community. And once they are able to identify this challenge, then we help them spotlight the necessary solutions or tools needed to address it. And afterwards, the rest becomes, a testimony for them to say, we've been able to identify this problem and we liaise with necessary stakeholders and this is a solution. So challenges are there, yeah, but we've been able to surmount those challenges.
Thank you, Sam. It's great to hear how you have been able to really overcome these challenges and continue the great work you have always been doing. And following this same set of questions, I would also like to ask you, what do you think is needed to continue promoting youth leadership and climate activism in your countries? And what do you think maybe are both challenges and opportunities to really continue promoting climate activism over there?
Okay, so what I think we need right now to continue promoting climate change actions or climate actions in not just Nigeria, but even in Africa is providing youth with the platform, needed for them to showcase their skills, and also mentorship support, because a lot of them have these ideas, a lot of them want to do a whole lot of things, but they are looking for a platform to, leverage on to do those things. Because if the platform is not there, at the end of the day, they just feel as though they are alone. And it can be so overwhelming, because when you think about, you want to okay, so there was a time we are having, I'll just give an instance, there was a time we are having a mentorship program in the pop movement, and then I could hear the mentees saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, and it was really overwhelming because they have a whole lot they want to do. But through the mentorship support provided for them, they won't feel confused of what they actually want to do. They can be able to identify what is necessary, the needed action at the now for them to act on. So that is what this platform can do for them. And another thing that I think we need, to make actions more is access to funding opportunities. Like, not just these funds are there. Yeah, we have these funds are there globally, is a lot of people are pumping millions of dollars into the climate space, but it's not accessible. There are no easy access to these funds, especially for local youth groups that are not recognized by the government and are not even registered. and then probably they're not even, sound in education, but they have this passion and they know what they can do. If there are ways that this funding mechanism can be made easily accessible for people, while you look at the application format where we talk about you need to type, you need to write, how about bringing an application format where people can be interviewed visually without them actually typing those things, for you to know that they know what they are doing and they have the skills and the capacity to do so. So providing these platforms helps. And another thing that I also feel, the last one I'll talk about, is the area of policy and decision making. So for youth to be involved and also, to make sure that climate space in Africa is not downplayed, they need to be involved in the policy mechanism of the country or of their countries. Because if the government is making any decision right now without involving the youth, that means the decision is just for only selected few. And we know in every community or in every state, youth makes up majority population of that particular country. And that is the thing we are looking for. A situation whereby youth will not just be the opinions of communities. There is always this opinion pool where government go to gather opinion of the people. But how about bringing them into the decision-making table, to ask them questions, to hear them out, to adopt their decision, to give them space to speak, and without even giving them that, but also bringing them into the table, decision-making table, to give them position, to tell them, okay, you know what, this is your position for youth, and this is what we expect youth to be doing. And then part of the challenges that I feel in this whole thing is the ability for youth to be able to identify what they need at that time. Because there has been a lot of misplaced opportunities, or misplaced priorities, rather, not opportunities, but misplaced priorities. Why everybody is clamoring for a lot of things, we are not even clamoring for anything. If we keep saying we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, at the end of the day, what do you want? That is always the question. I've actually been on forums, political forums, where leaders will say that, yes, they like the youth, they like the energy, they like a lot of things. They come, they tell you they want this, they want this, they want that, but they have not actually said what they want. So they should always have a strategy of, conveying their demands, making sure that there is a synergy in their demand. If they're saying, for instance, we need trees to be planted. So part of the strategy will be, okay, since it doesn't rain, so the government should also make sure that they provide irrigation or water management process to make sure that these trees are watered. And also the government should make sure that they employ more manpower to make sure that these trees, are looked after. So these are strategies. Instead of saying we need improvement, we need job, we know when the government, take that into consideration, is also going to give room for jobs. So these are strategies, and I feel that is a lot of things that is happening in the African context, misplaced priorities, where youth doesn't know what they want, but they know they want a lot of things. But how do you synergize these wants and demands to make sure is being given priority to, or is being given a lot of attention? So that is the major thing that I would say about this misplaced priority. And if youth can be able to make sure that their priorities are set right, then you can't go to anywhere and they turn you down to tell you don't know what you want.
I completely agree, and I think you give us a great panorama of the needs from different sectors. It's not just maybe one thing that's missing, but a combination of things that would really promote additional climate action. For my fourth question, I would like to ask, how can your work in Pop Africa serve as an example to those who would like to start or lead a project in their different countries?
Yeah, I would say is an example of its own, because the whole model and the whole process, for me personally, if I'm carrying out a project, first, the planning is what really matters to me before any other thing. So at times, project can take me months, to plan. the reason why it takes months is so that you can be able to get a qualitative result and impact that speaks for itself, So, and at times, this project can take like up to 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, at times a year, just to get the planning correct. And then once this planning is out, we roll out the whole concept note. So in every project we do, there's always a concept note that gives a guideline on what people should do and how they should go about it. For instance, the Pop Nigeria Initiative on Climate Education is being replicated in a lot of African countries, okay? And then part of the things that is peculiar about this project is the fact that there is nothing like a hidden wisdom that you wouldn't know about climate change. So what we do is, to give you access on how you can be able to get institutions, how you can be able to get schools, and also provide you with the necessary resources or materials to guide your knowledge about climate change. And by so doing, you know what climate change is all about. And we do not just stop at telling you what climate change is, but we also, include other activities that people can be able to do to reflect their environment. So like the tree planting, the agroecology, the landscaping, the cleanups, and then what have you. So these are some of the things. And these projects are exemplary on its own. When you look at them, you actually feel like, I want to do this. There was a project we carried out called Hobbit, Hold It Until You Bin It. And a lot of people was like, Hobbit, but, after that project, a few months later, I started getting feedback. Someone told me, what, this Hobbit has actually changed my perspective about waste. So right now, whenever I eat something or plastics, I can't dispose it or discard it indiscriminately. I have to wait for where I see a waste bin, then I trash it. So it has already shaped the perspective of people about how they use their waste and also how they manage their waste. So this is a part of the examples. And then also for the agroecology, we've seen situations where communities have been empowered in that regard to promote sustainable food chain. The tree planting is already something that is happening all over, like like Gudera, which is one of the global platforms for partnerships, have also worked with us in tree planting. So when they see what we do, they feel this is something that can be replicated, and they can easily relate with it with live practical examples. And this is what I feel all projects should look like. There should be no hidden fact of how the project came about, but there should be practical life examples that people can be able to follow up and can be able to replicate it to get even much better results than the results that have been gotten in time past.
Thank you so much, Sam. I completely agree. And diving in deeper into this, what would be your main recommendations for youth leaders who want to get involved in this?
So my main recommendation for leaders that wants to get involved in this is first, they should have the passion for it. That is first. And then second, they should, look for an organization, like we already have the pop movement, to volunteer with. Because right now, a lot of people just wants to do it and they feel, okay, like this past week, I can't even keep count of lots of people that has come to my DM to ask me, Sam, you've been traveling. How do you go about? How do I start traveling like you? How do I start going to countries? How do I start doing this? And then at times I don't even respond because the response could be awkward to tell them this is how you need to start. So first, have passion for it. Second, volunteer your time and resources. And third, start acting. Look for organizations that can support, that can, amplify your action. Involve yourself with them. You don't need to start from the global community. Start from your local community. Start from where you are. The little things we do makes a lot of difference, and it's from the little things we do that we start doing the big things. There is this say that says big surprises comes in small package. Yes, big things comes in small package. So if you want to go out there, if you want to blow out, like if you want your actions to be recognized, the small package is just your community because your community is small. So start small, and you will get a whole lot of results you want. And don't also forget that mentorship is very, very important, because for me, while I was coming up, I had a mentor. Dr. Ash was there, and there's also people too in my community that were there, that told me these are the things you need to do, these are ways you need to do it. And that also told me about, how to organize my project without even spending a lot of fund, as long as it's a small project I want to organize, how to mobilize people, how to speak to youth, So these were things that they talked to me, and I learned it from them. And from there, the rest today are all success stories of how I started my journey in the climate space. So don't forget mentorship, volunteerism, have passion, and also read lots of resources online. Yeah, I feel this will go a long way in spotlighting people and their actions.
Thank you so much, Sam. I love those recommendations. I think they set a very clear path for everyone who wants to get started. And I really hope that through this conversation, we can motivate additional action. So just to conclude, I would really like to thank you for your time, for really sharing all of this knowledge and all of this experience that you have gained here with us. And we really hope to keep following up on everything you're doing and continue supporting these projects, and amplifying them through the different social media channels. So thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, and look forward to further engagements. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was our 50th leadership conversation.